Hi, I'm Anastasia and I'm an emergency medicine resident in California. When I'm not foraging for mushrooms, or falling out of whitewater rafts, I'm delving into the world of toxicology. Now there's a lot of resources out there on toxicology, but many of them are just too long or spread amongst multiple websites. That's why I've created the Talksfox to be a central hub for all things toxicology. My commitment to you is that all of my videos will be less than 10 minutes long, because in true emergency medicine fashion, nobody has time for anything longer. So welcome to the Talksfox. Today's episode is going to be about Tylenol overdose. A lot of medications have Tylenol, including NyQuil and Percocet. If you call your poison control center, they'll direct you to the emergency room if you ingest greater than 7.5 grams as an adult or greater than 200 milligrams per kilogram as a child. Tylenol overdose is dangerous because Tylenol can metabolize to NAPQI, which causes liver failure. Now, normally your body can metabolize the NAPQI using the antioxidant called glutathione. However, in overdose, you just have so much Tylenol in your system that your body's stores of glutathione are completely depleted. This causes an accumulation of NAPQI and the liver damage that you see. Fortunately, there's an antidote called N-acetylcysteine, or NAC, which replenishes our stores of glutathione and helps us clear the NAPQI. Here's our first case. We have a 25-year-old female who ingested 30 tablets of Tylenol, 500 milligrams each. The ingestion occurred 4 hours ago. She took the medications all at once and denies any other co-ingestions. She does not take Tylenol on a regular basis, and she's currently asymptomatic. Her vital signs are normal. She has no gross electrolyte abnormalities. Her liver function tests measured by her AST and ALT are within normal limits, and her Tylenol level is 225 micrograms per milliliter. Do we give her the antidote N-acetylcysteine? In order to answer that, we have to take out our trusty Rumack-Matthew Nomogram. This nomogram was created to determine the relationship between Tylenol concentration in the blood and hepatotoxicity, defined as an AST greater than 1,000. The x-axis is hours post-ingestion, while the y-axis is Tylenol concentration in micrograms per milliliter. There are two lines on the nomogram. The dashed line was created using the data from Rumack-Matthew's 1970 study. It is frequently called the 200 line because the first data point occurs at 4 hours post-ingestion at 200 micrograms per milliliter. The solid line is just the dashed line dropped by 25% for safety reasons and is called the 150 line because it starts at 4 hours post-ingestion and 150 micrograms per milliliter. In the US, we treat patients if they fall above the 150 line. It's important to note that there are no data points before 4 hours post-ingestion, so getting a Tylenol level before 4 hours is not as helpful. You cannot use the nomogram if the patient ingested the Tylenol greater than 24 hours ago, took staggered ingestions over several hours, or takes Tylenol on a regular basis. For our case, the patient would fall above the 150 line and would need to be treated with N-acetylcysteine. Don't be fooled by her asymptomatic state in the emergency room. This is a common presentation for Tylenol overdose, so stay vigilant and follow the nomogram. NAC dosing is frequently tested on the boards, so here it is for you. The PO dosing is 140 milligrams per kilogram as a loading dose, followed by 70 milligrams per kilogram every 4 hours for 17 hours. The IV dosing is 150 milligrams per kilogram over the first hour, 50 milligrams per kilogram over the next 4 hours, and 100 milligrams per kilogram over the next 16 hours. The IV and PO formulations are equivalent. However, you might want to give the IV version if the patient can't tolerate anything by mouth, is pregnant, or has fulminant liver failure. Now, what do we do if a patient presents with Tylenol overdose but chronically takes Tylenol? How do we manage them? Because we clearly can't use the nomogram. Case 2. We have a 45-year-old female who presents with nausea and vomiting. She said she's been taking 10 tablets of Tylenol, 500 milligrams each, for the last 4 days because of a really bad headache. Her electrolytes are abnormal, she has acidosis, her creatinine is elevated, indicating kidney injury, her liver function tests are elevated, but her Tylenol level is undetectable. Don't be fooled by that undetectable Tylenol level, because most of it has been converted to NAPQI and has caused her the hepatotoxicity that you see. In this case, you would want to give NAC, even though she presents greater than 24 hours out. NAC is very safe, and you could potentially save her life and prevent her from having to get a liver transplant. So let's recap. Tylenol overdose is oftentimes asymptomatic in the first 24 hours. Use the Rumack-Matthew Nomogram and give NAC if the Tylenol level is greater than 150 micrograms per milliliters in the first 4 hours. Thanks for watching the Talksfox, and see you next time.